Let's talk about the power of conflict, shall we? Hi, my name is Kevin Eikenberry, and I'm here to help you reach your potential as a leader and a human being. Welcome to Remarkable TV and the Remarkable Leadership Podcast. Make sure you hit the subscribe button from wherever you're watching or listening so you don't miss any future episodes. Are you ready? Let's get started. What are you talking about, Kevin? The power of conflict? Isn't conflict something that a lot of us want to avoid? Isn't it like destructive? Like, doesn't it get in our way? Why would we want to talk about the power of conflict? Isn't it just something it's used for evil or doesn't help us or our teams? Well, it can be destructive, but does it have to be? Let's think about how we can reframe conflict just a little bit. Conflict can be a driver of creativity, right? If you have people with differing opinions and they bring them together and talk about them, it can create and spawn brand new ideas. It can be a driver of creativity. Conflict can be an exploration of perspectives. If we say, well, this is how I see it, well, this is how I see it, well, this is how I see it, we're not in agreement. We have conflict, but it helps us all see a bigger, more complete picture of a situation. And lastly, conflict can be a chance to clarify expectations. Chances are the kind of conflict you were thinking of at the beginning as being destructive is when two people are sort of at like this, and it's often because they think the other person was supposed to be doing something. They had an expectation that that person wasn't delivering on. And so when there's conflict, there's often unmet needs or a mismatch of expectations, and we can help to uncover those and move past those. Better communication moving forward. So it isn't all bad, right? So if we can find conflict that we can use and reframe in that way, that can help us get better outcomes. Less destructive conflict and more constructive conflict, if you will. So how can we do that as a leader? How can we help reframe conflict for ourselves and for our teams? Number one is we can expect it. We can expect that conflict's going to happen. And that shouldn't surprise us. We're humans. There'll be times when we don't always agree. But that doesn't mean that it has to be all about the tension. So we can remind people that conflict isn't necessarily bad by talking about what we've said in this video. And that reminder can keep us out of the focus on the tension and more on the focus of the opportunity. And the last thing that we can do very specifically is in a situation where we sense that there are differing opinions, resistance, conflict, we can use that as a clue that we need to ask more questions and listen better. Ask more questions and listen better. If we'll do that, if we'll ask more, listen better, we'll have a better chance of understanding the other person's perspective rather than trying to convince them of our perspective. So conflict can be powerful. Let me remind you about that by sharing with you today's remarkable reminder. How would your world and work look and feel differently if you looked for the power in conflict rather than assuming it was always destructive? If you're intrigued by the idea that conflict doesn't have to be destructive, that there can be power in it, that in fact it might even be an opportunity, then I want you to join me for my conversation with Dana Kass, who wrote this book, Conflict is an Opportunity. She's going to join us to share a framework for making more conflict constructive in a conversation we're going to have called It's Not Your Personality, It's Your Habit, the Practice of Constructive Conflict. She's joining me on September 22nd at Virtual LeaderCon. Virtual LeaderCon is a free event for you and others like you who want to be more effective leaders. It's completely free. This is just one of 12 sessions that will happen over 4 days, but you can join us for my conversation with Dana or any of the others for free. Just go to virtualleadercon.com.